Something unusual is unfolding across the U.S. border, and it has nothing to do with Trump dominating the headlines. This time, the spotlight is shifting. Americans, yes, even conservative strategists and everyday citizens, are rallying behind an unlikely figure, Prime Minister Mark Carney. For years, Donald Trump has treated Canada not as a partner, but as a political punching bag. He's lobbed insults, pushed trade threats, and turned America's closest ally into a convenient outlet for his outrage. But now, the backlash isn't coming from Ottawa. It's coming from inside the United States. From cable news panels to viral posts on social media, a growing wave of Americans across party lines are stepping up and saying what Canadians have known all along. Trump has crossed a line, and Carney is the only adult left in the room. This isn't just about diplomacy. It's a moment where two leadership styles have collided: principle versus chaos, leadership versus ego. And while Trump lashes out, it's Carney's quiet resolve that's capturing respect across the border.
Schmidt, he is the co-founder of the Save American movement, the creators of the ad you just watched. Schmidt is also a former Republican strategist who worked on the campaigns of George W. Bush, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and John McCain. He also hosts his own podcast called The Warning. Steve, nice to see you again. Thank you for joining us today.
Good to be with you, Michael.
So here we have Premier Ford being heavily criticized by many Canadians for running this ad, his ad, not yours. Donald Trump using the Ford ad as a reason to stop trade talks with Canada, but you're defending the Ontario Premier. Why?
Well, Premier Ford recognizes something that's elemental to understanding the Canadian-American relationship. The border does not divide these two countries, it joins them. And that's what President Reagan talked about. The American economy is in a state of collapse. It is crashing, in part because of the tariffs. The United States and Canada have $1 trillion trading relationship. Trump's sycophantic Treasury Secretary said Canada was running a psyop. Canada was trying to inappropriately influence American public opinion. Nonsense. It's a fit of petulance and pettiness by Donald Trump. You cannot appease him. At the end of the day, Donald Trump is for tariffs. Ronald Reagan was against them. They're terribly destructive. And Doug Ford's ad is not the reason that Donald Trump is attacking Canada. It is Donald Trump's maliciousness. That's the reason.
It began with a single voice, one that carried unexpected weight. Steve Schmidt, a lifelong Republican strategist who's worked with figures like John McCain, W. Bush, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, broke his silence. This wasn't just any critique. It came from a man who helped shape the very party Trump now claims to lead, and Schmidt has had enough. In a now viral interview, he delivered what many American conservatives have only whispered. Trump's treatment of Canada isn't diplomacy. It's petty, it's reckless, and it's dangerous. He called it what it is, a vindictive tantrum directed not at enemies, but at America's closest ally. And he didn't stop there. Schmidt made it clear, Trump's chaos hasn't just hurt Canada, it's hurt Americans. Because when Trump lashes out, trade slows. When trade slows, jobs disappear. And when American jobs vanish, people look north and realize this isn't Canada's fault, it's Trump's. Schmidt's words hit hard because they came from inside the conservative camp, from a man who once stood proudly behind the GOP before Trump turned it into a stage for ego, not leadership. And Schmidt didn't sugarcoat it. Trump isn't protecting America. He's destroying the very things that made it strong. Its allies, its principles, its partnerships.
He's easily alienated by the truth. And the truth is these tariffs and his trade policies are devastating the economies of the United States. Go talk to somebody who lives in Florida and has a small business where there's no Canadian tourists. or somebody in Palm Springs, California. This is real life. Again, the province of Ontario has every right to communicate to its partners. It's the largest trading partner for dozens of states, and they quoted an American president, and Donald Trump lost his mind because Donald Trump punishes speech. He punishes dissent. And the message the premier sent was an important one to be heard in America, and that's why we're amplifying it.
For decades, Canada and the U.S. weren't just neighbors. They were partners, built on trust, shared sacrifice, and global leadership. But under Trump, that legacy has been poisoned. Steve Schmidt said what Canadians already know. Trump doesn't see allies, he sees leverage. He doesn't seek cooperation, he seeks control. And that's where Mark Carney made his mark. He didn't flinch. He didn't take the bait. While Trump swung with chaos, Carney led with restraint. In a world on fire with noise and division, Carney has built something rare, quiet strength, the kind that earns respect without raising a voice. Schmidt didn't hold back. He went further than anyone expected. Donald Trump, he said, has become a threat to Canada. That wasn't political theater. It was a clear warning. Because when the leader of the free world turns against his allies, he doesn't just weaken them, he weakens America itself. Schmidt reminded Americans what Trump has forgotten. It was the U.S.-Canada alliance that won wars, built prosperity, and defined democracy. And today, that alliance is being wrecked by one man's ego. He said Trump's constant humiliation of Carney shows not strength, but deep insecurity. And it's not just Schmidt saying it. Across the U.S., more Americans are fed up with the division, fed up with the fear, fed up with a president who alienates the very allies who still believe in democracy. And in that growing frustration, Carney's calm, focused leadership is shining like a spotlight.
I think the United States has become a profound threat to Canada in the administration of Donald Trump. You have an American president that degrades the United States' most important ally, insults its prime minister, insults the premiers of its provinces, talks about territorial expansion. The United States and Canada are two of the three principal countries that saved the world on the 6th of June, 1944. Donald Trump has tried to snuff out Canadian independence. His ambassador, Pete Hoekstra, is a disgrace. And every Canadian should appreciate that Donald Trump is as much a threat to Canada as he is to the liberty of Americans. And that's why there are 500,000 Americans who've joined the Save America movement in the last 8 weeks.
Here's why this moment hits different. Americans aren't defending Carney because he's Canadian. They're defending him because he's everything Trump is not. Where Trump commands applause, Carney delivers results. Where Trump bullies, Carney builds. Where Trump divides, Carney unites. Even U.S. conservatives, people who wouldn't vote for Carney in their own elections, now admit it. He's the kind of leader they wish they had. In a world where politics often feels like performance, Carney is a reminder: competence still matters, decency isn't weakness, and calm leadership still earns global respect. Steve Schmidt said it best: Carney doesn't fight chaos with chaos. He defeats it with clarity. And that's exactly why Trump fears him. What started as one interview has turned into something bigger. From California to New York, across newsrooms and timelines, Americans are taking notice. The message is everywhere. Canada gets it. Even the Save America movement, co-founded by Schmidt, now with hundreds of thousands of members, is praising Carney's leadership. Not because of partisanship, but because of vision, steady, pragmatic, and deeply human. While Trump isolates, Carney connects. While Trump fights with allies, Carney forges them. For years, Canadians looked south for leadership and stability. Today, more and more Americans are looking north. Because while Trump shouts about dominance, Carney shows what real leadership looks like: measured, diplomatic, unshakably in control. So when Schmidt called Trump a danger to Canada, he wasn't just warning Canadians. He was warning Americans of what they've lost and what they could still regain. Because Carney's rise isn't just about Canada. It's about a world finally recognizing that strength doesn't come from chaos, it comes from character. And in this moment, it's not just Canada standing tall. It's Americans saying, enough. This is Canada Newsline, factual, independent, and unapologetically Canadian. If you want more stories like this, clear, honest, and bold, subscribe now. Because Canada's voice is rising, and the world is finally listening.